Hey, yeah, buddy, race fans. Richard out of InsideDirtRacing.com and InsideCircleTrack.com coming at you with another Rich's Ramblings. This is a World 100 race day version of Rich's Ramblings, as here it's Saturday with the World 100 coming up later this evening up at Eldora Speedway. So certainly looking forward to that, and I know anybody who is a fan of dirt racing is looking forward to that as well. For those of you who are not Tennessee fans, sorry for the shirt, but it's Saturday, it's a game day, so the Vols are playing, so I'll be wearing my Tennessee shirt. Normally I do these things. I'm actually in my classroom at Seymour High School, but normally I'm in my apparel that I would use to teach in. So today, no classes going on today. But what I wanted to do in this edition, initially I planned to title this The World 100 is Bobby Pierce's to Lose. I'm not sure I'm going to go with that title anymore because of the inverts. Bobby Pierce is kind of pushed back in his heat race, so I'm not so sure that I'm going to consider this race his to lose, despite the fact that he's incredibly hot right now. He's won the preliminary races on both Thursday and Friday. If you look back at his record, he's won 11 of the last 13 races he's entered, so you don't get much hotter than that. But some of those have been some pretty big races too. It's not like he's going out and winning a little 5,000 to win races somewhere where there's 12 cars entered. He's entering big races and winning big races along the way. But let's take a look. If you'll look on InsideDirtRacing.com, have the heat race lineups posted on there for tonight. So if you want to, even if you're enjoying the broadcast or if you're there at the track for that matter. You can use InsideDirtRacing.com as a supplemental source to provide you with the heat race lineups. But taking a look, let's start with the first heat where Bobby Pierce is, since he was the total points winner. You know, they set these heat races based on a point system where the drivers accrue points on Thursday and Friday. And, you know, it's one of those it's every lap matters type deal. So qualifying, heat races, B mains, and the features all count toward their point totals. And Bobby Pierce had been the point total leader going into last night. So he was the one who spun the wheel of doom, and the wheel came up with a 6. So that meant they inverted the top 6 for each of the heat races. So let's take a look. You know, Bobby Pierce is starting 6th. These races are 15 laps long, so it gives everybody plenty of time to move forward, and you know the track surface at Eldora, as is pretty much always the case, has been outstanding on both Thursday and Friday. Particularly on Friday night, surface was great. So I believe Bobby Pierce can come out of 6th to make it into the top 3. The top 3 transfer out of each heat. I'm not necessarily saying he'd win, but if he gets off to a good start in a 15-lap race, there's a chance he could win. You got Tristan Chamberlain starting on the pole. Hayden Cowan has looked really good in that Joey Coulter car number 214. Just had some bad luck to hit him along the way, but he's shown really good speed. So that could be sort of a surprise entrant into the World 100. He could, starting second, so he could wind up in the top 3 there. You got the veteran Tim McCready, the 2-time Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series champion, starting 3rd. So he'll be to contend with. He's won at Eldora before. He knows his way around that place. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him. Jason Fager's a guy who's been running really well here lately. Devin Moran's been showing good speed here lately in the Roger Sellers car. Like I said, Bobby Pierce is starting 6th. You got Josh Rice in here, Will Rowland, Austin Neely. So there are guys in there who could potentially slip into that top 3. And remember, if you don't make the top 3, you still want to finish as well as you can, because it sets you up for the B mains, which will come after the heat races. And of course, the B main gets you in it. It's a 100-lap race. And how many times have we seen it at Eldora where a guy started well back in the field and then come on up and been very competitive with a chance to win there at the end. It seems like we see it from time to time. All right, heat race number 2, moving along. Michael Brown and Dale McDowell starting on the front row. That things have not gone as well as maybe Dale McDowell and the Shane McDowell Racing team might have expected in the first 2 nights. But coming into this race, I actually predicted Dale McDowell to win it, the World 100. And his misfortune, you never know, might turn into good fortune here. He's starting on the outside front row of a heat race, so he winds up, if he wins this heat race, he could be he'd be starting in the top 6 for the feature, and I think everybody knows how good he is there. He's very consistent. He's always there. He had that long string of top 10 finishes at Eldora over the past few years, so he's a previous winner at Eldora, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Dale McDowell come out of this second heat race, not only make it to the feature, but be a strong contender in the feature. Then you got Joseph Joyner starting third, and then starting fourth, you got the man at Eldora, Jonathan Davenport, starting there. He's won 5 World 100s. He could tie Billy Moyer Sr. With 6 World 100 wins tonight. I mean, what an amazing achievement that is. What a stranglehold he's had on this track over the last few years, not only in the World 100, but in the Dirt Late Model Dream and the $1 Million Race, which he won last year as well. So, don't count out Jonathan Davenport. He may not have won any of these preliminary races, but when it comes, he's one of those guys that has a knack when the big money's on the line. Jonathan Davenport seems to always be there. So he's starting fourth in the second heat race. You got Shannon Babin, another guy who's looked pretty good, real good over these first 2 nights. Been Chris Madden, who's gotten podium finishes and all that. Obviously, if he's starting 6th, the invert spun him back to 6th. So he obviously was well up there in the points to get there. So Madden's history at Eldora has been one of kind of a little frustration. Times when it seemed like he was set up perhaps to win, and things have not gone his way. Maybe this is the time if Madden can work his way into that top 3, or like I said, even come out of the B main, because in that 100 laps he'd have time to make it forward. Then you got Carson Ferguson starting 7th. It was a really nice season this year. Don't count guys like him, and even like a Cody Overton or Kenny Collins could make some noise in there too. In the Heat 3 race, you got Kyle Bronson starting on the front. Bronson had an engine let go on him on Friday night up there. Now it's the result of that, he's wound up on a pole in the heat race. So again, that might be a situation where misfortune leads to good fortune. Bronson could be tough if he gets out front there. Stephen Roberts, David McCoy in there, Shane Clanton. Mike Marlar's a guy who I'd really look out for in the World 100 tonight, if he can move himself forward in the heat race, or even again coming out of the B main. Brian Shirley in that Team Zero car that he got from Chris Ferguson is starting 6th. Was a winner last night in preliminary race. Passed Ricky Thornton Jr. on the last lap. Not many people have passed Ricky Thornton Jr. this year on any lap. Thornton was having some engine issues, but still nonetheless a great drive by Brian Shirley to win that race, and now he's starting 6th. He in a sense, kind of like Madden. Eldora, it might be a place he likes, but things haven't worked out there for him. Certainly as much as he'd like. So we'll see what happens there in Heat Race 3. Heat Race 4, you got Matt Shepard, the big block modified ace. He's won all those championships and everything, the big block modified, driving for Nice Motorsports, starting on the pole. Garrett Alberson, Stormy Scott, Chris Ferguson could be one of those guys that can be kind of I don't want to call him a sleeper pick. He's too good to call a sleeper pick, but one of those guys that maybe everybody hadn't been talking about but could slip in there. Jason Jameson's looked really good here these last couple of days too, as well. And Ricky Thornton Jr. starting 6th. I mean, we know what Ricky Thornton Jr. is. He doesn't have to start at the front to win a race. We've seen that over and over again this year. So the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series points leader, winner of more than 20 races. He and Bobby Pierce have each won more than 20 races this year. I mean, that's just incredible to have that kind of success in this highly competitive world that we're in. And Heat Race 5, got Mike Benedum and Donald McIntosh starting on the front row. But then in the row 2, you got Brandon Overton coming out of there. Brandon Overton has won the World 100, and he's won the Dirt Late Model Dream. So let's keep an eye on him coming out. They're not in the 76 car. He is driving a Wells Motorsports car, but it's renumbered number 4 as a tribute car. So look for him. Dalton Wilson, who over the last few weeks, Dalton Wilson's really started coming on. I mean, there's a big win in Dalton Wilson's future here coming up sometime soon. Maybe it's tonight at Eldora. You never know. Hudson O'Neal, another guy, looked really good, and he looked like it's a winner in his preliminary race last night, which what a stacked preliminary the A group had there. You had O'Neal, Bobby Pierce, and Jonathan Davenport all in the same race, but O'Neal looked like he was on his way. And then something happened there in the front of the car, whether he hit a rut the wrong way or whatever might have happened, but wound up crashing out. But still good enough to be in the top 6 in the points. So he'll start 6th. That car's been really strong at Rocket House car. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him. The way he's been able to pass people anyway, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him come out of 6th and maybe even win Heat 5. Jimmy Owens, who's a multiple-time winner at Eldora, starting 7th, so he'll be looking to move forward as well. So that could be that Heat 5 will be an interesting race to see how it goes. If there's comers and goers there, and see who comes up from the mid pack and who goes back if they do it all. Then Heat Race 6, you got Mason Ziegler, Dennis Erb Jr. on the front row. Dennis Erb was looking really good last night too, and again had misfortune that shot him up into the wall. He's leading up. I took the white flag as the leader in his heat race, and then winds up bouncing off the wall because something obviously happened to the 28 car. He just shot dead right. All of a sudden, he was able to limp across and still transfer out of his heat race into the feature last night. But if that car is able to regain the same kind of speed it had yesterday, then look out for him starting on the front row of Heat Race 6. Spencer Hughes, Ryan Gustin, Trent Ivey, and then Brandon Shepard, who is over the last few weeks has started to look like Brandon Shepard, like what we expect Brandon Shepard to look like. Winning big races as he's been doing. Of course, he just recently announced his next year he'll be the driver of the Longhorn Chassis House car. I don't want to say replacing Tim McCready. I don't think that's the right term. Tim McCready's going to be with the same team, Paylor Motorsports, Donald Bradsher's team, next year. It's just not going to be labeled as the Longhorn House car. It's still going to be a Longhorn. But now we're going to have Brandon Shepard moving, kind of sharing time back and forth between his home in Illinois and North Carolina, where Longhorn Chassis is based. So we'll see what happens there. Nick Hoffman starting 7th. He's looked pretty good. Ricky Weiss seems to always do well in these big races. So wouldn't be surprised to see him move forward out of Heat Race 6 too. So it ought to be a great night. I mean, it's Eldora. It's the World 100. Of course, it's going to be a great night. Somebody's going to walk off that stage tonight carrying that Globe trophy, which everybody in this sport wants to get their hands on. So it's going to be great to see who does. It's going to be interesting to see who that guy is. But anyway, I'm going to be enjoying. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but I'm certainly going to be enjoying the Flow Racing broadcast tonight, and I know many others are as well. So until later on, this is Richard Allen of InsideDirtRacing.com and InsideCircleTrack.com, and I will see you at the track.